Hello team. So I'm going to go through a few ways for you to increase your profit in your Amazon business today. As a finance graduate and accounting graduate, I know a thing or two about analyzing company accounts, about profitability, about the key levers that ultimately lead to profit increasing. I've seen it time and time again. And what I want to do here today is basically run through a few of these and give you ways that you can increase your profit today. So the first one up is a concept, and that is understanding cash versus accrual accounting. The people that have never studied accounting or finance, this maybe is like talking Chinese. However, there's a couple of fundamental differences. So when you are starting out your business, usually businesses will operate on cash accounting. And that means it's a case of money coming in and money coming out of the bank account. And that's when things are noted down, and that's when things are recorded. Now, that makes sense when you're a small business and maybe up to into seven figures or low seven figures is fine doing cash accounting because it's just simpler. It's just easier to do it. And there's a couple of benefits to that as well. One of the benefits of cash accounting is the very easy to do cash flow forecasting. So cash flow forecasting is important no matter what way you're running it, whether you're doing cash accounting or accrual accounting. And I will recommend both in just a moment. But cash flow forecasting is extremely important. We've used it for many years to ensure that we have enough cash in the business to place our orders in the next quarter, to place our shipments, to place any large amounts that got to go out of the company account so that we have enough cash to sustain our business. I think 80% or 90% of people go out of business because they run out of cash. It's not necessarily profitability. They just are not able to effectively manage cash properly. So cash accounting at the start makes sense. Cash flow forecasting at any time makes sense. And it doesn't have to be too difficult. Okay, so what's the difference with accrual accounting? So with accrual accounting, you're going to, one, note expenses when you make the sale with the inventory. So in cash, you might place a $20,000 order and that will come out of your bank account, and then you'll note the revenue coming in maybe 3 or 4 months down the line when you're selling the units. With accrual, what you would do is you would only note those expenses. So you would obviously note it on a cash basis or on a bank account basis, but you would only note those expenses when they come out when the sale gets made. So if you sell a product for $30, $5 might be the COGS production, $5 might be the COGS shipping, and that is when you would note that. So you can see at the end of each month how profitable you are. Again, it's not going to help too much in terms of your cash flow, but it will show you at least how profitable you are on an accrual basis. And this is obviously hugely important because cash should follow that in any case, as in if you're going to be very profitable on an accrual basis, your cash flow should follow that over time, provided you are not spending egregiously amounts of cash in non product or non-main business expenses. So that's where cash comes in. That's where accrual comes in. What I do and what I see some clients doing as well is, because we're at about 7 figures now, however, we still do cash accounting as far as filing. You're allowed to do that in Ireland because it's just easier. However, we still use tools such as what we use is Sellerize. I do see clients using Sellerboard as well, because what these tools will give you is they'll give you the accrual accounting and let you see on a product basis what that looks like, because that's very important as well, to be able to see on a product by product basis which ones are producing the most profit, which ones are not producing the most profit, on the contrary. So I hope that explains it. If there's anything further on this, just drop any questions and I'll go through it. I know it's a little bit of an alien concept, but I hope that made sense. So the next one here is increasing profit, is understanding like the levels of business. Okay. So what I would say, or what I say to many of the team or to clients, is the first indicator is obviously business level performance. So what is our total sales? What is our total ad spend? What is our total profit? Organic, etc., etc., etc. But that's on a business level for the entirety. Now, if let's say business is fantastic and everything's going great, happy days. Now, if say there's a problem in your business, what are you going to do? Well, the business level is going to be made up by your various products. Okay, so it means you have to dig a little bit deeper and figure out, for example, if you've 10 products and performance is not good, well, maybe 8 of those products is performing really well, and maybe 2 are performing not well. So you've basically picked out all 8 that are doing great, happy with that, and then you've got the 2 over here that are not doing well. So you basically go deeper again in those products, okay? And what is more than business level, what is more than product level, is then what I would call like a sub-niche level or a niche level. And that's going to be what makes up each of those products. So the product is going to be made up of the search terms or the markets that the product is in. So I would go down as deep as looking at, let's say we've got product A, let's say we've got this coffee cup. I would then go into the niche level. So I would look at the search terms, either pull out a search term report tool, which I can show you in just a moment, or use a software. So let me just show you what that would look like. So firstly, that would look like this. So you can see it here. And again, each of this products, the product performance is made up by all of these individual markets. Now, if you're investing in ads, you're going to have a lot of great data on this. You're going to be able to see the click-through rates, the conversion rates, the ACoS. What you will also be able to couple this up with, which is very important as well from a holistic standpoint, is also the organic. So while we've got, let's say good ads and running ads, assuming we're doing things right there, we should have an organic picture as well. So the ads is on one side, the organic is on the other. Let's just say, for example, 50% is ad, 50% is organic. That gives us a better insight into the performance into each individual market, because we can really see based on, let's say, the ads data, whether it's the conversion rate, whether it's the click-through rate, whether it's the ACoS, we can really see what the true ACoS is for each individual market. So I know I'm getting a little bit granular here, but let's just assume that the market was coffee cup. So we've got the search term coffee cup, okay, and that's a certain market. Now, if we can see that the product level has 50% organic and 50% paid, I know based on the ACoS of what I'm seeing, if I've got organic for this, based on the ACoS, if it's let's say 60%, well then the true ACoS, assuming 50-50 organic paid, is about 30%, Now, it's not an exact science, but it's a very good indicator of your performance on a individual search term / market by market performance. So that's what I would do. And that's what I mean is, at business level is not good. Okay, which of the products is good, which is not good? Let's pick out those 2 products. Let's go deeper into each individual markets. Let's look at the ads. Let's look at the organic. And let's really drill into what needs to be improved to make this profitability increase. And oftentimes, it's half the battle is just figuring out where your weak spots are in order to improve them. And this is how we would do it. So I hope that makes sense as far as the ads. I hope it makes sense as far as the search term or the organic as well. And obviously then your business level too, depending on what you're using. It's a matter of looking through the business level, seeing if it's good, and then dropping down. So even let's say you're an even larger business, and you've got, 100 products or 1,000 products in some cases. What I would do is, because you're not going to go business level down to right down to product level to like 1,000 products. You go business level down to like a SKU grouping level. So that would be essentially what way you break up all your products. So that might be by marketplace. It would be by maybe niche. So if you're selling like coffee cups or bowls or whatever it might be, you might break it up into those groupings. So that would be the layer below the product or below the business before I go into products then, because you can't analyze 1,000 products at once, quite simply. So it's about just drilling down one by one. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this is how you would look at, or I hope you understand how we would look at increasing profit or increasing bad performance with ads, business level, product level, sub-niche level. Okay, so hope that makes sense. The next thing I want to open up here is the stockouts. Okay, so one way to increase profit, which we done in many instances, and oftentimes clients don't realize as well. And this might seem overly simplistic, but I often think, and I often see that the main fundamentals of business, the basics, are what many people get wrong, including myself. So you need to be focused on the key metrics. Now, what do I mean by ABC analysis? Let me open this up here. So if I look at ABC analysis, now I've obviously blurred out the products, but you can see, for example, with Sellerize here, which is a great tool, you can see, for example, now this is obviously a small marketplace, But you can see, for example, what's making up the most profit. So, for example, in this case, we've got a couple of products that are in A, we've got 3 products that are B, and then we've got some that are C1s. So not all products are equal. And what I was guilty of, and me and the team were guilty of in the past, was treating all products as equal from a inventory management perspective. That is not the case. You've got a few products, to use Pareto's principle, that are making up a hell of a lot of profit. You've got to be like, and I know within the rules of Amazon, given the fees, but you've got to be overstocked in those ones, because oftentimes the losses you make when you go out of stock of those products vastly exceed any fees anyway. So that was a big change, and I mean a big change. We had a record quarter after that. I think we done $300,000, and it was a large part into maintaining stock, but it was also a large part into understanding the key numbers behind our products, behind our product groupings, in order to optimize inventory planning. So I hope that makes sense. We've no affiliation with Sellerize at all. However, fantastic tool. I really like it. Next one I've got is shipping evolution. So this one is a little bit more straightforward, and one that you will understand. And that is often at the start that you are shipping by air. Quite simply, you're testing or you're validating products. You're ordering 50 units, 100 units, barring anything really large, which can happen. You're going to be shipping by air, or you're going to be shipping by LCL even, let's say, if it's a larger product. Now, the big savings don't come from the air shipments. The big profit doesn't come from the air shipments. The big profit doesn't come from the LTL shipments. The big profit comes from the full container. So that's 20-foot, 40-foot containers. Now, for me, we ship out containers once a quarter, a 40-foot container. And obviously, if you can get to that, that's where you're going to see huge increases in profit. Obviously, the economies of scale and the profit is just a lot bit higher on containers. So the sooner you can get from, let's say, air shipments, let's say express, to LTL, to full container, 20-foot, full container, 40-foot, that's when you're going to be making a shitload of profit. For a second, I thought I couldn't curse there, but I guess it's okay. Okay, so next one here is economies of scale. So negotiating 3 orders when sourcing. So what do I mean by this? I see a lot of people when they're sourcing their products, and this is what I done in the past too, was you're basically trying to find out good pricing for the first order, not without considering that the first order is probably going to be smaller anyway, or somewhat smaller, and the majority of your orders are going to be at these larger quantities and therefore lower price points. So to me, what we do and what my team does is we negotiate based on the first 3 orders. So we'll give them, let's say, or the first 3 levels. So we'll give them, and I'll show you this now. I'll open up this tool here. And what I mean by that is we will do an MOQ. So let's say we've got 100 units, right? We will fill this out. Then maybe we've got 500 units, or let's say 1,000 units. Okay. Then I'll go 5,000 units. And then I'll go maybe 12,500 units. And then I request these prices from suppliers. And the reason we do that is because most of the orders are not going to be MOQ. So there's very little point to be negotiating hard on an MOQ, only for then the supplier to ratchet on the prices on the next orders. Again, it might change slightly over time. That's very natural. However, you really want to get an understanding for the life cycle of the product. And the life cycle of the product is not going to be multiple MOQ orders. So for that reason, negotiate and look at the price points along suppliers for the three different levels. And even if the last level is maybe a bit desirable or it's a little bit aspirational, that's okay, because you're going to get an understanding of where the price drops are and when you move along in terms of your evolution, how much savings and how much more profit you're going to make at the high levels. Because to me, the ultimate goal is at the high levels, and that means really maximizing returns through economies of scale. So this is one way to do that as well. Okay, so the last one I've got here is expanding marketplaces. And we do this for clients. I see this time and time again. I've done it in my business. Expanding marketplaces can be so easy, provided you figure out the technical details around some of the expansions. What I mean by that, if there's like VAT and registrations and trademarks, this stuff is very necessary. But outside of those things, it is relatively easy to take what you've already got as already a working product that's making profit, that you have the content, you have the ads, you have all the assets ready. Then it's just a matter of figuring that stuff out and getting into the new marketplaces. So for example, in this case here, we've got Canada. Now, in order to expand from USA to Canada is so easy these days, using I'm not even sure what the name of it is here, but it is using the feature where you basically fulfill the products from the USA for Canada. Now, in this case here, we don't do anything in Canada. However, an extra $7,500 in profit each year is more than welcome. That covers a lot of costs. So to me, and this is just USA to Canada, there's a huge and even bigger potential when you're doing Europe too. Whether it's UK to Germany, which can work out great, or Germany to France, or to Italy, or to Spain. Now, some of the European markets are just very small. However, again, we've already spent the time and the investment and optimized the ads, the content, the product, all of these things. And it's just move them over here. You get all that extra profit. Because in many cases, you don't need to do too much. If it's a smaller market, like let's say, for example, we're looking at Canada. The amount of time that goes into this Canadian marketplace is a few hours a year, maybe. So this is what I mean by how good it is. Now, if we expand into a market that is even bigger again, maybe you have to be a little bit more active. But it's the easiest way to get 10%, 50%, 100% more profit in many cases. So it's not one to neglect. So I hope this helps and gives you a few ideas of what to do, how you can increase your profit today. And any questions, of course, just drop a message down below and I will get back to you in the comment section. So don't forget to subscribe as well if you want to get more of these videos, and I'll catch you on the next